Follow the light. The light is your guide.
Off the cuff, right into the centery gooey bits. Just look at this dude. He is emanating pure aura. Goddamn, he's actually emanating so much aura, it's coming out of his ass. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks here. I know why you're here. Heat ray variants, much like this gentleman over here, are often compared to that of blue soft drinks to further punch through the conversational void to showcase that, yeah, we like how this looks. And yeah, I like how this looks, but there is a keen addition here that Hiya added that I think makes this thing look even better. And no, it's not the thing you're immediately thinking. Or maybe it is. No, what I'm talking about is going to be the addition of a very dark navy blue on his back over here, mostly outlining that of the dorsal finians. Was that in the original solicitation? I don't know. Do I think people will be mad at this inclusion? I really hope fucking not. Because, again, the way that it frames the icy blueness going on Godzilla's back is... it's just good stuff, and good stuff makes me happy. So with that being said, yes, these dorsal fins look absolutely peak. Glossy translucent materials with a nice ice-capped white on top of them to really bring it home. And of course, they're going to be detailed up like absolute dreams. Just look at this, but yo, it gets better, it gets better. Ho, ho, ho. Oh! Yes, we have a transitional dorsal fin that goes from heat irradiated to I'm just chilling here. I'm not praising this thing under the guise that Hiya were the first people to do it because I don't think they were. I am praising it just because it looks damned lovely. And you can see that dark blue really skittering out as we move into the next segment. But screw that segment. We're gonna do a nice little crawl up through his tail, to his ass, to his back. And seriously, man, if I had top 10 dorsal fins of the year, which I might actually do now, this guy would definitely be up on there somewhere. Because this is beautiful. And yes, these are all translucent. And they light up so very beautifully. Yeah, little Reginald down here is gonna be translucent as well. Hell yeah. Look at that. Look at that. I'm sorry, somewhat, that I am taking so much time to just honor and love these dorsal fins as much as I am. I can't help it. The paint for Godzilla's dorsal fins actually starts up on the top of his head now, which I do very much enjoy. In comparison to the original head, they started more so at Godzilla's nape. And then when you get to Head 2.0, you kind of got that again, just with a darker paint job, which somewhat matches heat rays. I ain't gonna spend 2.9 billion years on this, but I like that it does that. I think it looks cooler that way. Accurate or not, I don't know. More dorsal finian paint, and the detailing as we see it looks fantastic. Not too big of a difference between the original and this one. And we will see this paint job continue after the heat ray into the transitional dorsal fin and all the way through to the tip of the tail. Up next, Godzilla has athlete's foot. There's a cream for that, my guy. You should definitely partake. And, you know, I mean, they're just toes, toe paint. They look good. They get the point across. Now let's take a look at those claws. Whew! Let me see them kitties. The paint on these alternate hands isn't really going to differ too much from the standard splayed out or clawed hands. I mean, they look the same is all I'm trying to say. And even though I'm going to talk about it later, here's what they looked like on the original. Got the pink rootage stuff going on in there. Here, it's more so just a darker color at the root, not pink. As you can see here, the viscosity of Godzilla's tits from 1991 might be one of the better elements from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah 1991, but I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment because now we have to talk about head. Moving on up. Get some head. So hey, look at that. We've got a new pair of peepers on this guy. We will get into it later. And I really do like how these eyes turned out. Yellow and aged. I think Godzilla might have jaundice. He should try drinking some water. I love how the pupils and the iris looks. It just pulls itself together and looks rather awesome. He wasn't always all 8-ball-eyed looking esque like he's the lead singer of Gorillaz. Nah. I think he looks great. Bro's got a scar on his nose like that one chick from that one manga that I can't remember the name of from that guy who did the bad stuff.
Do you have the slightest idea how little that narrows it down?
Rukia? No. Titty Kubo didn't do anything bad. The other guy, Rurouni Kenshin dude. What was that other one called?
Yeah!
The eyes from the front look rather friggin' nice and fierce. Although I will say this eye over here, good ol' stage righty over here. He definitely feels a little off center. I have a reputation for being a bit of a eye fucker extraordinaire. This is, whoa, God, this is gonna hurt me. And I do have to report on it so people don't think that I'm shilling for a company that's giving me review samples. Let's open this dude's maw up and really get a good look up in there. Holy halla-fucking-tosis, Batman. Godzilla's got some, really yellow teeth now. Not gonna lie, I was halfway expecting this mouth to be all blue by the time it came out, and Hiya didn't do that. So hey, point for beating the expectation. And for the most part, like the original, I'm amazed all these teeth are actually painted. They are nice and sharp looking. And once more, again, I have to give Hiya a lot of credit for the amount of detail on the roof of that mouth plus port. Same for the tongue and probably everything under it. Not too much going on the bottom of the tongue, much more going on the floor of the mouth over here. And again, just look at them teeth. They are teeth. So as far as paint and detail goes, I'm going to have to give it a lot of love and admiration because it is quite nice. And I do like that it is going to feature some new paint applications beyond just blue dorsal fins. That's nice. That's cool. I like when people do that. Anyway, size comparisons. Hokkaido Heat Ray Godzilla will be rather large. Shokugan. Movie again. Godzilla Collection. Premium Limited King. HG. Finger Puppets. Reaction. King Ghidorah. I've seen the clips. I know you all like that a lot, so I brought it back just for you. We have a timeline of Goji head to quickly cover before we move on, and it's quite crazy how much the eyes have improved from just earlier this year. Mark 1 Goji, or as I like to call him, Acid Take Goji, he's got pupils like small nuts. And, you know, in comparison to the 2 new heads that we have received, oh wow, he must be really good this year. 2 cases of head? Yeah, it's definitely a little bit lesser. Mark 2 Goji head definitely went for that darker, meaner look. Despite my comments towards the all-blackened 8-ball Gorilla's lead singer-esque looking eyes, I still do very much like this build for that of Godzilla. We did get a darker shade of dorsal finian paint for this guy, and the teeth did differ ever so slightly. Hold on, I have to correct a mistake I made with the head review. Alright, cringe over. So in all honesty, I didn't expect to see another shift in head offerings. But good lord did we get it. We've got a dirtier color for Godzilla's skin. The eyes feel wholly complete and like nothing's missing. The paint on the top of the head actually exists as it moves into the neck. Overall, I feel like Hiya took every little bit of criticism and just cooked. I know not everybody's crazy about these eyes or this head in general, but if you're out here complaining getting new head, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, what were we supposed to do next? Grab your slightly pointy and somewhat painful heat ray piece over here, which will be as translucent as the rest of the dorsal fins all the way through to probably the missile-headed tip. Oh yeah, that's translucent. I don't feel like turning the lights off. Leave me alone. Light blues, some whites. Looking forward to seeing this particular piece in a deeper, darker blue. Hopefully it fits in that respected Godzilla's mouth. Make sure that mouth is as wide as it can go, and then just shove it into the back of his throat. And Viola Lion, look at this guy holding up that heat ray without any issue. And it's not falling mid-take. Not to say that this guy doesn't have some drooping issues. He absolutely does. There have been a few moments where I've tried getting this... Oh, okay, yeah. Oof. Connection isn't 100% solid just yet. But as I was about to say, there have been a few times where I've tried posing this up and the head would droop just like that. This is not me trying to poke a hole in happiness right now, but it is something that can happen, and I would definitely recommend posing from the head and not the tip of the heat ray. You see, that's a Rob problem. That's a dumb thing. You don't do what I do. I'm not trying to indoctrinate you into a way of thinking through my cleverly made figure reviews. Cleverly made might be a little too much. If anything, I would say either leave him like this or prop it up against another figure, make it look like he's hitting it, or just put a stand under there. Anyway. Starting at the feet, you can see that we're going to have two different colorations used for the toenails. You will also see that on the claws. We've already gone overhead, so we don't need to do that again. Skin-wise, I think it's pretty obvious to see that the standard Hokkaido Godzilla is a bit on the darker side as compared to the Heat Ray version. Heat Ray version's gonna, again, have a bit more of a dirtier look to him, which I am not upset with. This guy looks more so like he just climbed out of the ocean. The only other major differentiation from everything I've just shown is just going to be dorsal fin color. Obviously, one's all charged up, the other is not, and the other is going to have more of a bone white dorsal fin paint job, while the other is going to have more of a darkened gray, dirtied dorsal fin color. Save for the back of the head. So there it is, the great Hokkaido Goji Parison. Moving on to... Articulation-wise, you probably already guessed that this guy is going to be just like the original version, which is in no way an issue because the original was such a grand slam for Hiya. From the top of his head to the base of his neck, this guy is pulling absolutely zero friggin' punches, man. Except for maybe at the base of the neck. The only area that really gave me a lot of trouble was going to be at the shoulder blades over here. Rotating them things, even after heat treatment, was just an absolute horror. My fingers still pain me to this moment. But the other area that gave me just a little bit of trouble is going to be at the torso, and I'm not going to complain about it because I feel like they might have tightened that up just a little bit to help him hold the heat ray up a bit more. Other than that, no issues whatsoever. Moving everything else, posing everything else, it's just like the original. That being said, you saw this coming. The tail is still a work of absolute magic and art. I still find myself near absent-mindedly just posing this tail in curves to the left, side, straight up, on top, in and of itself like a neutron star. It's just oddly satisfying to curl this tail up and pose it accordingly. I don't know how Hiya did it. I mean, obviously they did it with ball joints because it's the only way I think you really can do it without bendy wire, but all I'm trying to say is this thing's beautiful. It's a work of art. And I'm hard-pressed to say that there might be a tail releasing this year that could match this. Posability-wise, much like articulation, this guy differs very, very little from his original counterpart, save for the fact that he has a giant fuck-off beam that you can now pose him with, which did scratch a particular itch on the smoothest part of my brain to just get weird or standard poses out of him with it. I don't know, whenever I get a beam with a figure, it makes my brain kind of think in 4D chess. It's like, okay, how am I going to shoot this? How am I going to do this? I do all of this thinking, and then I just end up taking a picture that looks basic as hell, and I feel like an idiot. I'm glad the figure has remained as posable as it is. The guy sporting blue all throughout his back, translucent dorsal fins, the works. It looks friggin' awesome. And when you pair him with the Hiya 91 King Ghidorah, I think it looks even better. I would really love a poster color version King Ghidorah to go along with this, even if it's critically minimal. All right, I'm done. Thank you all so much for watching. I do so apologize this video took so long to come out. Watch my Giga Destroya video if you want a proper explanation. And if you don't, and you don't care, have a lovely weekend. I will see you all next week with Charbroiled Fanta Fever Playmates Godzilla, Sonic Adventure 1 Ocean Color Water version Muth. Thank you, Playmates Dealer 44. We're back, baby! Ha!
Queso, queso, queso.